is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode on the Red Room Podcast. Today, I have a Scotts Valley legend sitting across from me. This is Isaac Dawid. We go back, man. How are you?
Good, man. Good to be here. This place is awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. So, Isaac here has just been a community leader. You literally made Scotts Valley High School, man, like way back in the day. I remember as I was going to Baymont. So this is how we know each other. His mom, Mrs. Dawid, if you're watching, what's up? She was one of our yard duties at Baymont Christian School. And so I wanted to do the whole quarterbacking thing, which was fun. And I didn't know really anything about football except going to watch the Niner games up at Candlestick. And this man was just putting up numbers back in the day that really just put Scotts Valley on the map because we were a new school. So yeah, man, let's kind of dive into it. What got you? So how long were you been playing football for, like back in the day? Like when did you start?
Started in, summer of 5th grade going into 6th grade.
Yeah.
I always loved football. I played baseball and I wanted to be catcher to get all the pads on.
Yeah.
So I always enjoyed just getting suited up,
Yeah.
So, my mom was opposed to me playing football at a young age because all the kids get injured and all that. Yeah, of course. Yeah. So mom withheld and I was playing basketball and the SLV youth league.
Yeah.
And one of the coaches came and he goes, I am the football coach and you're huge. I want you to play. You got to come out and play this year. My dad's like, hear that, Isaac? You got to get you out there. Let's sign you up. I'm like, I've been waiting for this moment. Let's do this. So when I was younger, I was, taller and I was a lineman. And,
You started off as a lineman?
I was on the O-line. Yep.
Wait, really?
Yep.
I did not know that about you.
On the playground at Bama, we were hucking it half the field and, so I had experience throwing, but, when kids are smaller, you got to put the bigger kids on the line. Yeah. So I was like, hey, I'll do what I got to do. I'll be a team player.
Yeah.
And then when I got up to 8th grade, that's when I started really sprouting up. And then I played a little bit of quarterback and fullback and, I played safety and linebacker and just, kind of, spread around. And then Louis found me. So you know what? I was actually the water boy. Actually, that's how I got the intro to Louis from Israel Hester, my older brother, Isaiah.
Was it now? Okay.
Yeah. So I was on the field just observing, hanging out, and I'll throw the ball a little bit. So they knew who I was. And then.
So they already had your eye on you.
Kind of a bit,
What's this water boy doing? Look at him. He's throwing the
ball. Yeah. When's he coming up? Yeah. So, and then I got the JV quarterback. They brought me up to high school. When I was in 8th grade, Ed Jenkins came and found me,
Whoa.
Russell's dad.
You're in 8th grade and they're taking you up to JV
At Baymont.
right now?
Well, yeah, they're just like, come try out. Come throw the ball for us. Let's see how you get along with the receivers. Let's see if there's chemistry. Let's see if you can fit in. I'm like, all right. Yeah. Went up and me and Russell were actually trying out for the quarterback position. And Russell was so built. I mean, he was a grown man at 14 years old. He looked like an NFL prospect back then,
Dude, I remember coming in as a freshman. We were looking up at you guys. You're all huge. I was like, dude.
Nobody was as big as Russell. That guy, I mean, he had the intimidation factor. When we walked out of that tunnel, people were just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Tell me I don't have to go one-on-one with that dude. Yeah. And he would just demolish people. So that made my job a lot easier,
Yeah.
But so I ended up getting the job, JV quarterback as an 8th grader, going in, went to camp, and it was kind of funny because my brother Isaiah is 2 years older than me.
Yeah.
So when I was a freshman on JV, he was a junior on varsity. Got some playing time. He didn't start back then, and he worked he worked hard, got a name for himself. Ended up starting that outside linebacker his senior year. But just went. Stepped up as JV quarterback, learned a lot. At first it was overwhelming. And I'm like, this is a lot. You have to remember where everybody's at. And
did they even have a freshman team?
Yeah.
Wow. They just coming up to JV.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're playing JV as a freshman.
Yep.
And then sophomore year, when did they take you up to varsity?
Went to varsity as a sophomore.
Wow.
Me and Russell. So we jumped, freshman, went straight to JV, and then Russell and I went to varsity as sophomores.
Wow.
Both started on the same defense. And that was cool because I got to start with Russell, and my brother was starting on the same defense. So I was a sophomore, he was a senior. Yeah. Well, I mainly played defense my sophomore year. I played a little receiver. Mm-hmm. I was going to start at quarterback, but our quarterback, Ryan Genovese, was having some off the field issues. Then he ended up coming back.
Yeah.
And Louis like, are we better with Isaac and Ryan?
Yeah.
F yeah. I'm like, all right, let's go. I'll be a team player again. Yeah. No big deal. And then, go to junior year, and then we take that trip to Texas, get our butts beat. That was, rude awakening.
Dude, that right there What team did you play?
Gainesville.
Gainesville?
Yep.
So
North Dallas.
We went to like Alice, Texas. Dude, Texas football is a completely different beast we walked out to that field. I don't know what it was like in Gainesville, but dude, they had a Jumbotron and like playback, and like it was a full on like NFL stadium from a high school.
Mm-hmm.
And like here we are.
They shut the whole town down. Like you drive through the town, there's not a light on in any of these businesses. Everybody's there's like 15,000 people at a high school game.
God and Jesus first, football second, right?
Yeah. I mean, when you're pumping out, 10 D1 players a year, it becomes it's a whole culture. I mean, Texas football alone is it was mind blowing.
Yeah.
Because you come here and there's so much to do. There's surfing, there's, hiking, and people are not that crazy about football. Out there, it's pretty flat, and people lift weights and they play football, and they, have a reputation for it. Everything's bigger in Texas, and that's no different in the football scene. Those guys were huge.
Yeah.
300 pounders, and we were just getting pushed around. So it's a great experience.
Yeah. No, I feel the same way. Like when we went out there too, to like Alice, it was just absolutely just crazy, whole different, just level. I felt like, and then of course the hurricane came through 2 weeks after and knocked out the whole entire Gulf Coast right there. We went to Joe's Crab Shack that was right there on the water, and I saw it on the news, and the sign was just hanging like out in the middle of the ocean and stuff.
Impeccable timing.
Like we got out of there just like right amount of time.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, so our senior year we went to Alaska. There was kind of a crazy story. We get on, in Alaska, there's waterways.
Yeah.
So there's roads in the middle, and you got water on the right and left.
Mm-hmm.
So we get on a bus going to maybe it was the Mendenhall Glacier. It was one of the the little trips we took.
Yeah.
When we went to Alaska to play the state champs there, our bus driver
was it a week long trip or?
I think it was like 4 or 5 days.
4 or 5 days.
But our bus driver had a heart attack before he started up the bus. He was about to crank that thing over.
Man.
Can you imagine? Dude, he had a heart attack. Drives off we're all in freezing cold water in Alaska.
Wow.
Anyway, that was a huge blessing.
Did he end up like okay?
Well, he went to the hospital and we got a new bus driver.
Yeah. There you go.
That's how that situation worked out. But we were all just looking at each other. Wow. We just dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
A freezing cold bullet right there.
Serious. What was it like playing up in Alaska?
It was wet. It was the rain season in Alaska. So I think we were 4-0 heading.
Snow?
On the mountains.
On the mountains?
So you look up and there's huge
I've never been before.
Yeah, Alaska's like it was such raw beauty.
Yeah.
I mean, you look up to the north end of the field and there's a mountain goat up there and a snow-filled mountain and just dug firs all around. It was really majestic. It was foggy and it was kind of surreal being
National
there.
Geographic.
Yeah.
Like real.
You're like, I'm supposed to play football here. I got it.
Yeah.
Putting plastic bags over your socks so they don't get too wet.
Wow.
It was the rain season.
Yeah.
I threw my first interception 5 games into the season in Alaska. Trying to throw it to Russell, ball slipped, but it was a great time. I mean, I personally had, I think, my best game of the year up there.
And then that was you said your
senior.
That was senior
So
year?
we went to Texas my junior year and then Alaska my senior year.
So your senior year, was it your junior or senior year that you put Scotts Valley on the map? I mean, we were a whole new high school. No one knew about us. And then you went like what? It was like 12-1 or something like that?
No, we were 9-1 in the regular season,
but
we made it to number 4 in CCS. So we made it to the open division, which we did not belong there. I mean, we're a school of 500 students playing schools with 3, 4, 5,000 students.
Yeah.
Up in the Bay and everything. I mean, the CCS it's a big, it's a big section, 100 and whatever, 100 and something teams. Mm-hmm. We made it to number 4, a little old Scotts Valley. So, but we all just bought in. We locked in and I trained all year. Yeah. I just didn't take any time off, but I just wanted to become something. I became really natural, just being on the field. That's what I wanted to do. It was good exercise, good, building towards something, trying to, establish a name for myself. So
what was one of your favorite moments throughout that entire career up there at the high school? What was like one of those like moments where you look back on, it's like,
yeah.
What was that moment?
I think Alaska, because that's when we went somewhere. Well, we were beating everybody locally. Mm-hmm. We beat Wilcox, which traditionally, beat everybody on the side of the hill.
Yeah.
We beat Pacific Grove, who was pretty good that year. We beat Salinas, which these days Salinas is really good. They were, okay back in the day.
Salinas was always good.
Yep. So we went up to Alaska, and I just had the best game of my life. And it was right when the recruiting trail was pretty hot. So I was talking to, probably 10 or 12 D1 coaches, and I was just flying high like a falcon,
Yeah,
just living it up. And I just remember being on a plane, going to play, and then on the plane ride back, and just having that remarkable experience in Alaska and beating somebody from, out of state. And that was, the best team from where they are. And that was pretty encouraging. I'm like, we're 5-0 heading back to Cali, and we just got this magical season unfolding. And
yeah,
that was pretty magical, that time period,
Yeah, no, it was. It's just, I was definitely a freshman. I think I was a freshman while you were a senior.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, everywhere Santa Cruz County that I would go, it's like, you put that high school on the map. Literally, this dude was like the Tom Brady of Scotts Valley High.
For a year. Junior year was pretty decent. I got a knee injury the first week 0, I think it was, or in the Jamboree. I think
what happened
I heard
knee?
I partially tore my MCL and PCL. So my MCL was my junior year, and that was the Jamboree. So I was out a couple of weeks, and then kind of was nursing the knee. And then, so that's, my junior year is when we won our first playoff game.
Yeah.
We beat Carmel, smashed Carmel in the first round, and then we got beat by Seaside in the semifinals. Mm. But that was a pretty decent year. I mean, Sam Gordon, Tommy Erlin. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had some, yeah, it was a fun team. Those are a fun group of guys to be around.
Yeah.
That was great to, step up and be with them as a freshman and then as a sophomore and junior. So
you guys still talk and hang out today?
I've talked to Sam recently. Yeah. I keep in touch with, every once in a while, Tony Lopez, who's our running back. I hung out with Tony recently.
Yep.
He's doing really good. Sam's an attorney. He's doing really good. Everybody found their way. So that's awesome. Really cool to see.
That's awesome. So has Mr. Walters been like, hey man, do you want to come up and coach at the
God, I feel so bad. I was there about half the season this year, and my business started really taking off, and
well, that's good. That's good.
That part is good.
That's good.
I love giving back. I'm there for the kids. I like to pass down what I learned from Roger Theater. Mm-hmm. RIP to Roger. He was a great quarterback coach. He was the old Cal head coach back in the 80s, produced multiple All-Americans, and this guy he was a guru, quarterback guru was what they called him. And he was just, he had to be in his 80s when I was in high school, when I was working with him, and he taught me a lot. So learning all that and not passing it down, it just, I was like, it made me feel, it was fulfilling in a way. I'm just, kind of like a full circle type thing.
Yeah.
So I moved back to Scotts Valley a year ago, and Louis like, he caught word that I was moving back. He goes, you got to come out just a little bit. I'm like, okay. I showed up, 1-2 days a week for practice, and I eventually just had to kind of wean away from it because I have 2 boys as well.
Yeah, that's right. You're a dad, dude.
I'm a dad now.
What's that like?
Oh, it's a lot. You know, it's you gotta just.
It's that transition, man. It's like,
it is.
Oh, here's little me now running around,
watching your every move.
Yeah,
repeating stuff, and so. Oh, it's so rewarding, at the end of the day when the kids are showered, teeth brushed, they're in bed sleeping. I'm like, oh, this is so nice.
Yeah.
It gets stressful, obviously, but, teaching them stuff and just, getting them so psyched up on going to the Discovery Museum and the mall and taking them to the park. Yeah. Got them Power Wheels. I ran into you at Sultana. Yes. They're obsessed with those. Independence as a kid is having a Power Wheel.
Yes.
Load it up in my truck. Dude. We take it to Sultana. They just go off and they have the best time ever.
Yeah.
A fantastic $400 investment,
Dude, right? When I was growing up too, the Power Wheels. Then we had, do you remember the green machines? Did you remember those? I had the big wheel in the front, the plastic wheels in the back, so you could do donuts.
Donuts, yep. It's so legendary.
Within 2 weeks, the back tires were all cracked and stuff because I was using it. So.
And you guys live in a prime time spot for that.
Yeah, it was fun.
Right in the vineyards. That is a great spot to be able to ride those.
Yeah, it was cool. We had a good group of dudes there Ramsey and Roman Williams. You remember them?
Oh yeah. Yep. I played with Roman back in the day.
Yeah. Who else? Jasper and Sterling Forrest were there. I had a buddy named Pinocchio. I don't think you probably knew him.
Nope.
Cool guy. But then you had the Meninas too. Anthony and Nick that were there too.
I know their names. I can kind of picture them.
Yeah.
All these names are ringing bells.
Yeah. But it was a solid group. So let's kind of jump into like the work segment, because while this is a lifestyle podcast, it's also tied to real estate, and this is why I wanted to bring you on too. So where you come back to Scotts Valley, first of all, what do you think of the town now? Like, I'm getting to that point where I'm starting to sound like my folks, where it's like, oh, that used to be a field, or that was like and I swear to God, like you're driving down, Scotts Valley Drive, and it's like that was the RV parking lot, right next to the car wash, and now they're all like homes.
Now we have a farmer's market.
Yeah. It's a little small one, but it's cool.
Yeah. No, it's growing. I mean, a ton more residential units are popping up. I mean, they've got plans to do thousands more.
Yeah.
I think it's great. The traffic's gotten worse.
Dude, yes.
Most definitely. I'm like going across town on Scotts Valley Drive, in the afternoon. It can be, I never thought it would take so long, but
I know.
Because I'm up on Tabor above the high school. So
yeah. Coming down there.
Yep.
Thank God they got rid of that stop sign right at the bottom of the high school, because that was an absolute nightmare. And then, oh my God, did you ever have the police officers at like when you were doing morning workouts, like sitting in the dark because people would roll through the stop sign. There were like 3 or 4 people on the team.
That's entrapment. Scotts Valley entrapment.
Finally, we took it
Not
away.
the first time that's happened.
Yeah. So funny.
Yeah. No, it's changed a lot. I'm enjoying it though.
Yeah.
Back in the day I was in high school. I'm like, get me out of here. This place is so boring.
I know.
There's not a thing to do. There's not a, rec center for people to hang out. I mean, you got the movie theater.
Yeah.
Other than that, there's house parties. I mean, people are just waiting until somebody goes out of town and,
I know.
throw a little shindig at their house. But
I know.
Yeah, that's, but now, like, I'm a dad, business owner, and I'm like, I appreciate how clean and safe it is.
Yeah, 100%. What do you think of Scotts Valley getting their little downtown kind of being
near the hangar, huh?
Yeah.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's eventually going to look like Santana Row, probably.
Yeah.
Hopefully. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Because it's just, Scotts Valley was just always been this kind of little drive-through town. That's exactly what it was. There wasn't a place to hang out going off of what you said. So this will be cool to kind of see where that goes and everything.
I think it'll attract more people here.
Yeah.
Because I know the sports at Scotts Valley has been hard to kind of attract talent and all that. I think, building the home base and building it up, going vertical would be great.
Reason for people to stay.
Yep.
So with that, you come back to Scotts Valley, and then what gets you into your current line of work right now, which is awesome, by the way. I've seen your work, and I'll make sure to get some photos from you. We'll put it somewhere in here at the moment. I'll let a slideshow go.
Awesome.
So let's dive into it. How'd you get into it?
Yeah, good question. Through COVID, me and my soul tie, Teresa, we started South Point Seascape Coffee Bar and Tap Room in Aptos.
Oh, cool.
So this was 2019. It was always her dream to have like a cafe.
Yeah.
I was in the ag industry and, had been doing custom cabinetry and furniture, woodworking.
I remember that
from my buddy Rob Scoma. He's doing fantastic work. But yeah, so I learned how to work with my hands a bit. My pops has been working with his hands, construction since the 70s. It's got to be in the DNA somewhere.
It's in the blood, baby.
Yeah. Let's test it out.
Yeah.
So got into that, and so we ended up taking over the space, which is kind of a rundown coffee shop. Ended up renovating and making it a coffee shop in the morning and a tap room restaurant at night, and that went really well. It started out really good, and then COVID hit. Yeah. That was a tough time to open a service-based business in person. It was just, so that was kind of a train wreck. Anyway, got a, $10,000 little, pick me up from the government, but we're like, we just want our business running.
I know. I had my buddy, John Spagnola on here, who runs You Blend It Liquors. He has Hideout Vodka. And he was on here. He was talking about the same exact thing. He literally just started to like get the business going and like COVID hit, and he was just talking about how like every day that dude was out there like door knocking on all the different bars to try to get his alcohol out there.
Yeah.
It's just, he was like, it was tough. It was tough. I was down in LA during all of that and doing the whole like bartending thing and like all, going after like, movie stuff and everything. It's just like LA just
chasing
shut
your
down.
dreams.
Yeah. Yeah. LA just shut down. It was the weirdest thing, just like a ghost town, So yeah, so you have this business, COVID hits, you're just like,
what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And she's just like, we got to make more money. We got to do something because this isn't enough. And, we had our son Christian born in 2020. So he was a COVID baby. And so, whoever wasn't at the shop was kind of running kids around and watching the baby.
Yeah.
And so he started getting a little older. And so he was about 2.
Mm-hmm.
And, she weaned him. And then, so I started looking and I saw a couple opportunities, looked on Craigslist. And this guy was just like, hey, so I've got a unique patio cover opportunity. If you're looking for a salary, this is not it. I'm looking for a business partner. Or an installer or something along those lines. He was looking for somebody to help aid in his business. And I called him. We ended up talking for 20, 30 minutes and we hit it off. And he goes, yeah, if you want to start installing some patio covers down in the Central Coast, I'll go sell the jobs and then you can show up and you can make a couple grand in, a day and a half. And I'm like, I would love to have some supplemental income. That would mean a lot to me and my family right now. It's what I'm looking for. And so a couple conversations later, he's like, well, you sold me on you. I don't want you to be my installer. I want you to be my business partner. So this is 2022. Opportunity fell in my lap. I kind of was looking for it. I'm like, I'm not trying to go get a sales job part-time. I just want to, I want something that I can really, dive into and really kind of just, explore and see where it goes and put my best foot forward. And so that ended up being it. And my partner, Dennis, he's 78 now. He's been in the industry for 52 years.
Wow.
He got out of the Vietnam War and started selling sunrooms like Owens Corning. I mean, I think it was even before Owens Corning and those kinds of sunrooms and patio covers. They were just thin aluminum patio covers and you could hear the rain and the hail and, when the wind blows. And so, started out doing that and ended up, he made a big name for himself. He had a big showroom in Hayward. He had an impressive operation. His mom got sick in her 90s. He was taking care of her, kind of left his, other operation to his other business partners. And so we started up Patio Covers and More. And we also have Sunstar Builders, which is a sister company that, sells materials. But, he kind of gave me the keys to the truck. And, he's like, hey, I'm passing the torch. I'll be here if you need me. Just let me know and set me out on the sales visit without much training or anything. And I just, trial by fire. Yeah. And ended up picking it up. And so I'm, a couple of years in now and I'm hitting my groove. So we have, manufacturing partners in Washington and down south in Corona, California, manufacturing partners in Sacramento. Yeah. So, I ended up finding a really good installer by the name of Juan, and he's making magic out there. I'm selling the jobs and he's just making these customers as happy as possible. So it took a while to weed out different installers and really get the ones that can do everything. Because people, when you show up on site, they're like, well, since you're doing the patio cover, can you pour the concrete slab too? Can you repair the stucco? Can you add the fascia onto the front of my, rafter tails and install a gutter. And, so Dennis tossed me a bunch of connections, in the industry.
Is that the more part?
And more. Yeah, it's a lot. So sunrooms, patio covers and sunrooms and whatever else. Yeah. Because, we have 2 general contracting licenses. So we're able to kind of branch out and sub out, different jobs to different people in their field of work. But I love it. I never thought I would love it. I mean, when I say patio cover, people are like awnings, and I'm like, that's what I thought. Fabric, whatever. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Unique patio cover business? I don't get it. Yeah. But we have like 7 different types of patio covers and a few different types of sunrooms, and based on people's needs, and that's why it's my job to go out there and my business partner picks up the phone when they call. We run SEO and generate leads online and Angie and all that.
Mm-hmm.
He talks to him, vets him, talks to him, and, tells him how much experience he has in the industry. And he's going to toss him over to my partner, Isaac. And I just take it from there, perform site visits, show them their options, create renderings, pull the permit, order the materials, coordinate the install, make sure everything's going good, collect payments, do the books, all that. So it's been extremely challenging, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I mean, times got tight, a few months ago before the election, it was just like people were gun shy.
Yeah.
Not pulling the trigger. I'm like, oh, it's a little uncomfortable. This is not good.
Yeah. I was noticing that too with just like in real estate business too. People just kind of like waiting to see what's going to happen with everything.
It's an eerie feeling.
Yeah.
Like, am I going to need to pivot?
Yeah.
Is it time to pivot?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the floodgates just opened and I just sold my most expensive project and 3 other projects that are very expensive. So lately I'm telling you, when I dove into the personal development sector of, rigorous accountability, things started changing.
Yeah.
It's when there's nowhere to look but inward, you're going to find success. And, it's just got a little nugget dropped in my lap from a huge ripped guy at my gym, Ray. And he goes, have you heard of Jim Rohn? I'm like, no, I haven't. Like, I'm going to send you something. You promise you'll listen to it? It's a couple hours. I'm like, sure. I'm in the truck all the time. Sure enough, Jim Rohn changed my life, So it's, if you want things to change, you have to change.
Yep.
And that's just the bottom line. I mean, 2 hours of basically, a lot of different angles and circles back to that.
Yeah, man.
So, your health and fitness, the psychological game, your mental health, business wise, everything is up to you. And if you want to learn about something, you read books.
Yep.
Average CEO reads 52 books a year. And that's not a coincidence. You're interested in something, you want to, learn more about, saving, personal finances, you read a book about it.
Yep.
You want to learn about health and fitness? I mean, there's Instagram reels these days. I learned a bunch of new tips and tricks off Instagram reels, for fitness. But, just being a patient father, diligent businessman and hitting the gym 4 days a week and focusing on, my diet.
Yeah.
Eating clean. It's just like, it'll work wonders for your life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, you're exactly like nail on the head with that. 2022 was kind of like one of those years for me where everything just kind of like hit the wall. And I was reading Marcus Aurelius. You ever read his stuff? Yeah. And it was like that whole entire thing. It's just like, what can you focus on? That's within your life that you have like the power to make things happen. And the other things that fall outside of that perimeter is wasted energy. And you don't need to focus on that. Just like, what are you going to do? Focus on your work, health, all that stuff.
And then you attract.
Yes.
You don't chase, you attract.
Yes.
And that's so much more powerful.
Yep.
And that's when you start achieving your goals and goal setting. I got to say, I haven't written down my goals and I'm kind of embarrassed to say that. I'm 35, just learning how to set goals. But thanks to Jim Rohn, I started, writing them down. I mean, I was just using my head as a filing cabinet for most stuff. And I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like writing stuff down, and Google Sheets has been a game changer for me too.
Oh, yeah.
Just like all my leads and all, where am I at with this project? And like, if I didn't jot that down, I would be lost right now.
Yeah.
Looking lost in front of the customer, not good. So just little things like that.
Yeah. I'm kind of like say old school, but I will use Google Calendar and stuff like that. But like, I love writing down stuff in in a planner because it's like, I have this checklist. And then when I cross it off, I get that like satisfaction of like, yes,
it's a surge. Yeah.
Mission accomplished for the day,
And that's what keeps you going. Just like making your bed. That's the first.
Do you journal? Do you do any of that stuff?
A bit,
a little bit. I'm kind of like the same. I'll do it from like time to time.
I'm not super diligent with it.
Yeah.
I write a lot. My site plans when I visit customers and stuff.
Yeah.
So I write that and I'm doing a lot of writing that way, but it is such a healthy way to get your thoughts out to write at least every once in a while.
Yeah.
And then, to express yourself like this on podcasts. I think that's very healthy too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's, it's just that grind, man. Life's interesting. It's like I think just for me personally over the last couple of years, it's like you think you have something figured out and you're heading in a direction and then it's just going to whack you over the head with a 2x4. And then you're kind of going off in another direction, but you just kind of keep heading somewhere and you'll get there. My folks are all like, yeah, life's like a pinball machine. It just keeps, you're never like going straight all the time, but you know.
No, but what would be the fun in that?
Yeah.
If you knew your plan from a baby, it's like, well, there's no surprise here.
Yeah.
That's what's so beautiful about life is you can pivot. You
Journey.
Yes. Right.
It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. You know?
Exactly. No, it's And so you have the power every day to wake up and choose, the direction you want to head.
Yeah.
And if it aligns with you and it just fires you up to think about that and it wakes you up out of bed and you have energy and you're like, that's what I want to attack that with everything you got.
Yeah. So
powerful.
So out of, all the work you've done, you just completed one of your biggest jobs.
I just landed.
You just landed it?
Yep.
Cool, dude. So walk me through really quick of like, you go to someone, it's like someone calls you, it's like, hey, I want this. What's the timeline of like from that call to completion? What is that for?
So a lot of people, it'll take, 1 or 2 site visits. So on the first one, it's kind of introduction to material. And some people know what they want. They say our website, like, oh, that's the cover I want. This is the color I want. Take my measurements and go ahead and order material. But some people are like, oh, well, I don't necessarily need it watertight. I'm like, okay, well, we got, basically one option for that, a lattice-style pergola. But if, making it watertight and blocking the sun out is, a priority, then we have a few different covers, like an insulated cover.
Yeah, don't you have like the different percentages of like how much light can get through?
Light transmission. Yep.
Yeah. That's the word, light transmission. There we go.
There it is.
Here's the
industry words. Industry words.
Industry words.
Yeah. But we have exclusive rights on a cover that lets light through and it blocks the UV rays and it blocks the heat.
Whoa.
It's got a 30-year warranty. So in hot areas, it's just getting hotter.
Yeah.
In Pleasanton, Danville, San Jose, those are my areas. I'm all over the canopy.
Yeah.
So I don't discriminate when it comes to distance. I'm all over the place.
Are they like, I'm sure you have smart ones where you can just press a button and it just goes out and does its thing?
So we don't usually do the sunsetter type awnings like fabric. We don't do any fabric, more longer lasting. One we we have that opens is called a louvered roof.
Louvered roof.
Louvered roof.
What is that?
It's made out of extruded aluminum. And so when it's closed, it's watertight and it blocks the sun out completely. Right? But it has a remote control that you can open it 150 degrees based on where the sun is. So if the sun's hitting you this way, you turn the louvers this way.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. So it's watertight when you want it, and then it opens, when you want the sun.
Is there a certain size that you can like go up to, or do people like come to you and like have custom like sizes?
Every job is custom.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Every single job is custom. They're like, well, I want it here and here. And, so you can go, the projections are limited, but the widths aren't really limited based on the width of the house, so it's only limited by, you can add posts. You can add posts and add beams and just keep it going widthwise. But projection, you can only go so far until you need more posts. And, and you're looking at setbacks. So to pull a permit, you have to be at least in San Jose, at least, as an example, 10 feet from the side yard and backyard. And it can't take up over 33% of your total lot. So so there's
all these little rules,
Oh, trust me.
It's all these little rules.
Oh, permits are a headache. That's why I employ a guy named Jay who's pulled over 500 permits in the Bay. He lives in San Jose, and I started to pull permits in the beginning, and I'm just like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go crazy.
Yeah.
Doing sales visits and crunching all the numbers and creating proposals and contracts and doing all that. I'm like, I'm not pulling the permit. These people ask questions and some people don't know. It seems like they're new in the office and ask questions. And I'm just like, this is the most basics. And it takes them 2 weeks to get back to you.
Yeah.
So Jay creates a site plan. I give him the rendering. I give him all the information for the project. And he goes to the cities or the counties, pulls a permit for me, and I update the customers on a thread with Jay and me. So they're not calling me every 3 or 4 days. Hey, what's going on with the project? I'm like, check out the email thread.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and email Jay. It's all there. I don't have to, that, reduced a lot of stress for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a ton of things to know. I mean, asbestos, if the house was built before 1975 and there's asbestos and you're taking 20% or more of the wall, then it's got to be tested, and that takes weeks and months and a lot of things. I ran into, a bunch of different issues. Mm-hmm. It was an older lady in San Leandro, and I go, I demo her patio cover. I'm like, I'll get my hands dirty. I'll do this, this install, no problem.
Yeah.
And I detach her patio cover, and she needs a whole new roof. And I'm like, okay. So I have materials on site. I demo the patio cover, and she needs, she has like, what is it called? A rock and tar, roof, one of those old school roofs. And I'm like, I cannot attach my patio cover to this. So she had to call, and she has to get a whole new roof.
Oh yeah.
Postpone the project for a couple months. No big deal, but it's just little things like that. Nothing ever goes perfectly as planned. But.
Yeah. It's like you always watch I'll watch like the flipper shows and stuff like that. And they're like, oh yeah, we just bought this property. And then they keep opening up the walls and more stuff just to keep going into the hole. So it's like, yeah, I can't put this on until your roof gets fixed, lady. Sorry.
Yeah. Right. It costs you a lot more money. So, it's been a lot to just wrap your head around the whole project and what can come back and bite you, and how to kind of mitigate some of those things. So, I'm a couple of years in, and I'm finally, I don't know everything. I still, but I know a ton about my products and how to sell them, and, most of the caveats. There's obviously something, as new laws come about every year. And so there's always some, you got to pay attention, make sure you're changing with the times. But for the most part, I'm feeling pretty dialed in,
Right on, dude. Well, cool. Well, Isaac, thanks for coming on, my guy.
Of course. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
been a pleasure.
Isaac, I'm going to put your contact information below. So if you are in the Bay Area, or, if you want to fly him out and have him do some cool project somewhere, who knows,
Yeah, we're in LA, Sacramento, and the Bay Area.
There we go. I'll put your contact information below right here so they can reach out to you.
Thanks, man.
And, yeah, I may actually be calling you. We're renovating my grandparents' house, and I've seen your work, and I show my folks.
I'll give you commissions on selling covers. This is how we can work together too.
Deal.
No joke.
We'll do it. We'll do it.
Sounds good.
All right, y'all. Have a great rest of your evening, day, whatever time it is, and we'll see you next time. Woo.